Good morning, people. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I had a sneeze there. And this is little Lavi. Hi, Lavi. Hi. Hi, big boy. Yeah, my little Lavi. Just want to show him. Yes, good morning. This is Spirit Journey. And today is Monday, September 15, 2025. And the time is, wow, 6:40 a.m. Yeah, it looks like it's going to rain hard today. Yep. Yeah. I was to share, I feel a little, I feel cloudy actually. Look, the sky is very cloudy. And, I feel cloudy right now. What do I mean by that? I feel a little sad. Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning to you. Good morning. Yeah, I'm a little sad at heart. I'm a very sensitive person, and yes, I watch YouTube and I watch these videos, and yes, I still watch American videos. News reports in America where I'm from, and it still affects me as if I'm right there in America. Um, yes, I want to talk about Andrew Tate. Well, what he symbolizes to me. And in light of, see, the video I was just watching was Andrew Tate being interviewed by Piers Morgan. He's uh, a news announcer for Britain. And so what I want to say is based on this conversation that the two were having. And they were discussing about the Ukrainian young woman, who moved to North Carolina and gets unalived while at a bus, in a bus, just had I think, four other people. And she was the only white person there. All the others were black, to my understanding. It was about four people on the bus, and she's one of the people on the bus, and she's a white female. And she gets unalived by a black man. And it's getting a lot of publicity in America. Uh, in America, people are killed every day. Unfortunate. It's extreme violence in America today, and that's why I left America. I left America about 20 months ago because of the severe violence. And I didn't feel safe. And here, my little doggy there, I had, this is Lavender. And I had two other babies, fur babies. And I needed to move to protect them and myself. I lived in the heart of New York City. It was getting crazy. I'm sad at heart because of, yeah, this weather makes me a little, when it's cloudy like this, and then watching these videos, you know, your spirit goes down. Um, my condolences to the woman who got unalived while minding her business. What happened to her? How do they say it? How do you say it now? Um, what happens to a white woman on a bus? What happens being white on a bus, black bus, in America today? And you might hear things in the past, driving while black, and shopping while black, or uh, Now it's driving while white, on a bus. I mean, riding while white on the bus. It's the same type of thing. Same type of thing. Um, and it's sad where society is going. No one should be victimized being any race, nationality, on any bus driving, riding on a bus. You should have the freedom to ride on the bus, walk in the streets. And the words of the perpetrator is all on camera. My God. Wow. I'm so glad I left America at the time I did. Okay, I moved my shoes. Yeah. Sorry, my sorry. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, my condolences to friends and family of um yeah, it makes me very, very sad. And I was becoming sad as Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is actually an American guy. Has a Black American father and a uh, white British mother. He was born in America, and at the age of 10, he, his siblings, and his mom moved to Britain, where he where he lived much of his life, and now he's living, or at least was living in Romania. And um, he grew up very poor, especially after his parents' divorce. Um, and he knew for him he always wanted money. He didn't want to be poor. And he became a kickboxer, and he said it wasn't enough money. And he starts I think a cam business, in short what it is, ladies online, ladies being videoed, and then you're talking to guys. And there is a sexual component to it. Guys want to call up, see pretty girls, and wants girls to say things to, you know what I'm getting at. He did this for a while, and he's no longer in that business. Um, and he has, well, he was arrested a couple of years ago, and he was in holding. He was not charged with anything, but in holding for about 4 months. They finally released him to like a for him to stay, like a type of house arrest type of thing. Um, he's a very controversial figure, and primarily how the media spins him that he's a misogynistic man, and really nothing else. I've watched Tate. I learned about him. What was it? It was just before I left. Oh, what year is it? I think it was in January 2023. I learned of him. And I was very eager to find out, well, who is this person? Why all of a sudden all my feeds is talking about him, on YouTube. So I researched, well, who is this? They mentioned something about his father. I said, I better check out who his father is. And I learned about who he was. And I said, this is a really interesting man. I said, he comes from a very, very interesting background based on his father. And I said, I have to learn more about this guy. Basically, his father was in the military. He was he was a light-skinned black man, highly intelligent, was in linguistics. I'm not sure if he was working for the CIA, some type of intelligence thing. some type of intelligence thing. And there was a falling out, and he was denied his money. And he has a lot of pride, his father, and he said, um, I'm going to do it my way, so to speak. And he used his mind to make money. His father was a master chess player, and he won everything basically. And he did that to raise money to feed his family. And the father always installed in his sons, you know, to be a man, to be responsible, and you know, Tate is an important name. Live up to it type of talk to him. He never forgot it, Andrew Tate. And so now, what's happening? So they were discussing on the Piers Morgan show about you know, his background, about how he's perceived, and I felt it was very one-sided. And they were just yelling back and forth, especially Tate was just angry. And I did feel that it was, I thought it was a biased interview by Tate. I personally think with Piers Morgan that he is there to get ratings so he can get a check, in a nutshell. And he'll say whatever he has to say, and whatever that will make him popular to his bosses so he can get his check. I feel that well, I don't want to get personal about him. I want to keep it on one level. But I have my feelings about Piers Morgan. But with Tate had said at one point in this interview, heated interview, that Tate has children. And he said things that I thought was very interesting. Now Tate again, he's a light-skinned black, what I would classify as a very light-skinned black man, and he could really pass as anything, you know. But he knows his history, and he knows the harm that can happen to his children. He has children from different races, and he's concerned about his daughters. In a growing world, like he said, that he has a white daughter. And the reality in a world where certain groups might dominate, his daughter is going to be prey. And so Tate understands human nature. He's a man, yes, and he knows what men think. And that's why his first, his business with the camcorder, whatever how you pronounce that name, he knew what men like, and he instructed the women to do and say certain things because he knows what men like and what would generate more money, like it or not. So he said I thought something was very truthful, but sad. And that's what I'm sad about. What happens to women these days? See, sometimes we don't want to admit the realities of what can happen to certain women, where they live, and based what they look like. And he knows in the type of world his children live in, that some of them are going to face certain things based on their appearance and based on their gender. And he says that he's real strict, and his daughters are not have a curfew. Now I don't know how old his daughters are, but they have a curfew. They have, um, they I guess limited where they go. He's very strict with the daughters. And then he says that his job is to protect them, and that he doesn't want certain things for he was saying like that we're like for a woman to work, like if he could have it that he does not want his daughter to work, um and other stuff. He says primarily that his job is to protect his daughter. And he provides his daughter everything. And it's how it worded. He says, my daughter has a Bentley. And I kind of laughed because, you know, I think young girls, if they had an option, hey, give her material goods, make her feel safe. I don't think a lot of girls would complain. I don't think a lot of daughters would complain. Hey, you're gonna give her a Bentley? You stay at home when you need to stay home. I'll provide and protect you, but I don't want you out there working. Because he knows as a man that women could be targeted. Yes, women could be targeted at work. And that reality kind of shook me. I mean, I laughed a little bit about what he says, because he's ranting and he's fervent about his convictions because he knows the nature of a lot of men. And the nature of a lot of men, especially if it's a attractive female, that she can become prey. And he'll do anything to protect his daughters. And he knows in some regions that certain people, because of what the child looks like, in a world, and again, I don't know where his daughters live, what country they're living in, but the area where I gather with that conversation that the daughter lives at a place with a growing immigrant population from third world nations. And what they're doing in certain locations to European women. He does not make the rules, Andrew Tate. He reveals society's actions, the social actions of a lot of guys. And that's what makes me sad. The reality is that certain women can't go outside. He doesn't want them working. And then I was thinking, like, as he was speaking there like that, I was thinking about, well, certain like Arabic countries, like Saudi Arabia one time, women were not allowed to be outside unaccompanied by a male relative. That is extreme. What happened in that culture to make it so extreme? And you weren't even allowed until recently. A woman wasn't allowed to drive. She could be driven by a male. It's like a guardianship. And that kind of bothers me when I first learned about Saudi Arabia. But then listen to Andrew Tate. And it kind of had a similar thing to it, like a custody, custodial. But I understood him. I understood. I don't have to agree, but I understand where he's coming from. He knows what men are about. He knows the world he lives in. He was raised poor. He was a poor boy. He grew up poor. When you're born in a poor society, and he lived in a poor immigrant community. and the things that are happening in Britain, in this growing community, and the women, the local British women, girls, are being violated by this new demographics. And it's this reality that Tate knows about, that he wants to protect, he wants his daughters protected as a result of these realities. It makes me sad. It makes me sad because I feel in his heart he's telling the truth. I'm not angry at Tate. Actually, I like listening to Tate because I feel that he doesn't sugarcoat things. He speaks from his heart. He's very passionate in what he's talking about, and there is truth what he's saying. I think about myself growing up in in New York City. Um, my father has since passed, but I remember growing up. My father said a man's job is to provide and to protect his woman. That's what he always said. He repeated many times. He's to provide for them and to protect them. And yes, my father was extremely strict. And he was not a perfect man, and neither am I. I'm not a perfect woman. Um, I understand as an adult. His methods I did not like, but I understand what he worked in the school system, so he probably saw a lot of stuff in the school system and the nature of men. Yeah, I remember once I was on my drive, my parents' driveway. I was a little girl. I was with all my brothers, and he beat me with a stick because I was on the driveway, and I thought I didn't know that he didn't want me there. He said, "I told you not to go outside." I was on the property. I'm not trying to be a smarty pants. I didn't know that this was an issue with my family. Um, yeah, so maybe he knew something that day. He saw something on the news. I don't know. I don't know. Um, but yes, fathers in general are protective over their daughters because they know what could happen to females. Um, yeah, my father's household, when they come of age, you better get a job. Yeah, but wow, what the world is turned into. Yeah, he was saying, Andrew Tate was talking about the Ukrainian woman. She worked at a pizza parlor or something like that, and that was a no-no. Um, I think back other places that I worked at. Yeah, jobs, and it seems like being a woman, my in the uh, the job market, it was very rough for me in America. Very rough. Um, being a woman in general was very rough for me. It's like, where do you fit in? And for me, with that racial component of mixed heritage, but I am classified as a black woman, but of mixed heritage. Um, it's in the black community in America, it is there's more women than men. In general, there's usually more women than men in any race, but there is, I think, even a lack of number of available men, black men for black women. And being someone, if you like, there's colorism in America, in the black community, and if you're a a mixed blood, an obvious mixed blood, you tend to be hated by other black women, and then there's fighting. But in some communities, like place like Saudi Arabia, you'll find women are at home, girls are at home, and I guess they only go outside to buy groceries or something like that because of dynamics. A place like Saudi Arabia, men could have multiple wives. So that sense of the sense of lack of freedom, you may not feel free to be outside because you might be harassed. Yeah, that happened to me a lot. Um, when I was in my late teens, 20s, I was groped, fondled on the train. The trains are really packed. You had perverts, male perverts that would do these things to young girls. I didn't tell my family what was going on. I didn't feel safe in my home either, to be honest. I didn't know where to go for help, protection. I felt like a continual victim, and I acted like a victim. And men could smell victimhood, and women could smell victimhood. And you become a target when you act like a victim. When you look sad or depressed, you become a victim. And I think in Black America, a lot of the Black women walk around looking angry and mean. And I think it's their way to, like a rose with a thorn. They're letting you know that they have a thorn and don't mess with them. And for many of these Black women, it works for them. It works for them being very loud and looking angry. I think they do that for their protection, their own protection, because it's like no one there to protect the honor of Black women, of blacks in general, but Black women. We're not protected on the planet. We're not protected in America. And now I think a lot of Black American women, they're just losing their minds. Some of them, many of them. They're in the woke movement. And it's just a growing hatred for the white man. Yeah, I've been victim by white people, white men on the job. But it's like, what are you doing for your community, Black woman, Black American woman, Blacks around the world? What are we doing for our families to protect our daughters, to nurture our daughters, to keep us safe? Who is going to make us safe? What do you do? You have a lot of Black women now, they're becoming lesbians because there may not be any men available, or maybe they were victimized by men, Black men. And it's just turning that way. And that makes me sad. We're not acting like beautiful flowers as we really are. We're beautiful people. But many of us are acting ugly. And God forbid, if you look like a beautiful Black woman, you could be a target. Especially today, being a young Black woman. Let's say you're a godly, beautiful Black woman. Where do you go for protection? Most of us, I think they said 80% of Black households are run by female. There's no Black male there. So she's not protected and she's vulnerable. I remember also growing up, I was waiting for a friend in the city. And I remember the New York City back then in the 1980s had a lot of homeless black dudes. And they would harass me when I was waiting. And they, back in the 1980s, black men didn't feel valued. And when they saw a black female there standing alone, you became a target. I remember one time in school, a black person, older black man, no, it was after school. I had to go pick up something in the store, nearby store. And an adult male said something very sexual to me, asked me a sexual question. And the person that I was standing next to was laughing. And I remember how I felt vulnerable and no one there to protect me. When I think about that, I feel like I want to cry. Here I'm a 62-year-old woman, and I'm thinking about, I was a teenager at the time. It's like, who's going to protect our honor? So I understand people like Andrew Tate being very strict with his daughter because he knows the heart of many people, especially if that young female is considered to be an attractive looking female. And yes, he'll do anything to protect his daughter. I believe that. He'll do anything to protect his daughter. And does not want her to worry about anything. I guess, like he added, like, he doesn't want his daughters to work. And he wants their daughter to one day find a nice guy, marry her, and that she doesn't have to work. And that he will be an excellent provider. Yeah, these where do women go? I mean, most people don't have. Most people don't have. And you could maybe be an exceptionally attractive woman and could maybe attract a wealthy man, but it doesn't guarantee your happiness either. He can have multiple women. He could be a physical abuser. It'd be nice that women not feel that they have to, that they're forced to get married to be protected. Life is very delicate. Husbands could lose their jobs. Husbands could get sick and die. But you're still there by yourself. Let's say you have children from that union. How are you going to provide for your children? And some women are forced to do certain jobs to put food on the table. Yeah, it's very, very, very sad. Very sad. I mean, even being here on the continent of Africa, I've had women approach me and say, hey, like they were married. Say, how come you're not married? See, their mindset, and I'd say women around the world, and even women in America. Why aren't you married? Marriage doesn't guarantee anything in life. It's a nice dream. And some of these women that people that I've met down here, the men that I've met here in just casual, interactions, you're buying something. Men will be men. and they will hit on you. They will ask you out on a date, and they're married. And that's sad. That reality scares me. It saddens me. That behavior is universal here on this planet. Being a woman, married men asking you out. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. A man's nature is a man's nature. And a woman's nature is a woman's nature also. You have women that lack morality also. And you have women who will make a move on a married guy. You have that. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's quite sad. Quite sad. I'm also reminded of a story which also was making me feel sad and wanted to do this live stream. Um, there's an actress. I forget her name. She's a mixed blood. She's has a Mexican father and a white American mother. The girl is, in my opinion, exceptionally beautiful, physically and spiritually. Just she is the epitome of, she is the symbol of beauty. Feminine, soft-spoken, just a real flower. And she shared a story. And it makes me sad because I understand her story. Yeah, I'm a little sad. I understood her so well. Yeah, I heard the story some years ago. She's not in the public now. I haven't heard of her in years. I forget her name. But she shared a story that yeah, she's a Christian. She was going to church. And again, I mentioned about her looks. She's very exotic looking, just a real beauty, a natural beauty. Very natural, no heavy makeup, but a natural beauty. And the adult men in the church were making advances, sexual advances to her. So I think she was 14 at the time. She went to a youth pastor and told the youth pastor, and it was a guy youth pastor. And he said something to the effect, "Oh, well, you're just a beautiful woman. You're just beautiful. You're just a pretty girl. That's why you're a pretty girl." So it's blaming her for the outcome, what the guys were doing, the adult men in that church were doing to her. So like it blamed her. He didn't say, "Oh, okay, who was the guy who did this?" She wasn't protected. She felt vulnerable. And she shared what she did. She said the climate, social climate was mounting on her. Pressure, sexual pressure against her by these adult male predators. So no one protected the pastor. The youth pastor did not protect her, and she put matters in her own hand. Yes, hello, viewer. Yeah, this girl put matters in her own hand because in this America, I don't know what it could have been California or Texas. And what she did, she knew these men wanted her virginity. And so she just couldn't bear the pressure, the harassment from these predators. So she decided who she was going to be with, she was going to select. She selected who was to be her man. Okay. And it was um, another person, the person who she eventually married, the person that, you know, that she got involved with was the son of a famous black actor. Um, yeah, the guy also is biracial, black and white background, while she is white and Mexican background. She felt that she had to select a male quickly to protect her her virtue, and she decided for herself. They are happily married, and she named her kid Honor because the man that she decided to be with, to marry, was an honorable man. He made her feel safe and secure, and he protects her. And she named her kid Honor because um, her husband was honorable. And I understood. I understood her actions, because where's she gonna go as a young woman? She needed a protector. She needed to have a male by her side, because these guys were making advances to her. And the only way out was that she had to find a guy quickly, an honorable guy who would become her husband. More power to her that that worked for her, that she selected a good guy that she is happily married to. Yeah, some people, some women are forced to make decisions because there's nowhere to go. You go to church and there are weirdos in church. Church is not godly. Church is just a hangout for people who have all different issues. And if they have men, adult men, and you're attractive female. Well, what's funny though, in the black church, there are not a lot of black men and black young men in church. In the black church in America, there are females of all ages and children. And if you have an elder, you have a black man, it's usually an elderly black guy, right? If the church has money, then they get the families and the black middle class family. But that's about it, basically. That's about it. No one is there to protect that black female. Yeah, U.S. is a very rich country, but with poor values, many of the people there that don't protect their beautiful flowers. And a lot of these black women in America feel unappreciated. They're told that they're ugly. I was told that I was ugly too. I was told that I was ugly, that they called me flatsy, because I had a flat chest. I'm a late bloomer. It's something, it's really something with life. Some women are late bloomers. I think I got my first cleavage. I was in my 50s. I laugh at it now. Yeah, I had gained weight. See, when you're skinny, I was a very, very skinny child with very low body fat. But honey, when you get older, you start to gain body fat as a female. And you don't get the body fat just in your head and your feet. You get it all over. Yeah. And wow, yeah, I was a late bloomer. But even though I was a late bloomer, I was out, I was prey to, especially when I was 8, when I first went in the city, I had a job, I just got a job and a school. I understand why Tate's saying women shouldn't be out there because you have indecent people that they grope you in subway cars that are packed. Yes, it was very traumatizing. I said to my, why is this happening? And I felt unprotected in the house that I lived in too. Yeah, I would stay in my room trying to just protect myself, not feeling valued, not feeling protected by my family. I'm being honest here. Some families, they protect their daughters. They love their daughters. And God bless those households that really cherish their daughters and protect their daughters' virtue. Some families will do anything. And I think with Tate, he'll do anything to protect what is his. And yes, he may sound misogynist, but I think he's saying that for effect. I think he's just saying that for effect. He'll provide his daughter everything. And he wants to raise his son. If he has son, he wants to raise his son to earn a living so that he could one day have a wife or whatever, so you could protect her, provide and protect her. Wow. So what about this man, the black man that attacked that Ukrainian woman? Now again, you have black men that attack black women, but he targeted her, this Ukrainian woman, because she was white. By these words, he said, I got that white girl. Horrible, horrible. What would make a black man do that? Well, he's sick in the head. He had all control over his behavior. That's why he targeted her. He targeted her. What happens sometimes? So you have men that have male aggression, and they can't afford a pretty woman. And he may have felt like he doesn't have his manhood, real manhood. And he's angry at the white world. And he might be angry at the white woman because she may, to him, be the symbol of the white man's power. And he wanted to destroy that symbol of beauty and power. And so he unalived her. Wow. Yeah, I sometimes you see things. It's, when a man feels like he doesn't have power, he attacks women. Women are easy prey. And right now in the United States, it's the racial climate is so severe. If he didn't do the white lady, maybe he would have done the black woman. Get at his frustration. That's a frustrated man. He is a frustrated man, and he took his anger. He used a knife to unalive this woman. The knife also is a phallic symbol, and he used it against this helpless woman minding her own business. No one is prey, and I mean, no one is safe with a man like that. Someone might say, oh, well, he just got the white girl. He violated a woman, period, regardless of race. It's not important her race. this weirdo would have attacked anybody eventually. And this man has been in prison before. It's not the first time he violated someone's rights. He's a criminal who lacks power and direction. Yes, and in the black community with the black men, that the man's manhood is taken away. They don't feel a sense of empowerment and manhood. And it's reflected in the music that's being played in the black community. They wanted to have music that expresses their anger and what they think is masculinity. Masculinity is not violence, men. Men anywhere who are hearing this, not just the black man, any man who's hearing this. Masculinity is not attacking a woman when her back is turned or any direction she's facing you. That is not masculinity. That is abusing your power over a woman, a helpless woman. Shame on you. Shame on you to do something like that. It shows that you lack real, true manhood to violate a woman. But I'm sad too. What's happened in the black community in America. This feeling of inadequacy, feeling, being taught that you're inferior. But you need to you need to convince yourself that you are valuable. You don't have to wait for someone to validate you. Validate yourself and make something special out of your life. Stay away from, people who are negative, who don't try to get a job. Stay away from people who are idle, who skip school. Don't hang around people like that. Be around studious people, people who exercise their mind, people who like going to libraries and teach themselves skills. If you feel your school's not teaching you anything, teach yourself things. Teach yourself how to speak. Teach yourself how to write. Teach yourself a skill that you could maybe create your own job. Now with social media, hey, you could, start a website or, a YouTube channel and provide something valuable for society to listen to. You don't have to attack women of any race or complexion or nationality. Yeah, you don't have to do that. So yeah, I once went out with this guy. He was from Haiti. He was an immigrant. And it was women that helped him come to America and housed him. He lived with his aunt and mother. And he had a low value of women. I found out very quickly. I went out with him only 3 times. He was a fucking loser. Yeah, in the conversation, we went out to brunch once, and we're talking, and he asked me a question, and I was sure I was in my 30s. I was 30 or 31. Yeah, I turned 31, or going on 31. Yeah, I was going on 31, and no, maybe I was 31 going on 32. Yeah, my birthday didn't come. Yeah, that's right, because I arrived in 30 when I was 30 already. Yeah, and it was the following year, I think. Yes. But either way. Um, so we having brunch, and my response was, I don't remember the question, but my response I remember was, and I was repeating what my father taught us, all the whole family. A man's job is to provide and protect his wife or his woman. And you know what? He like I forget how he responded. at that immediate time. But in a later conversation on the phone, yeah, we stopped seeing each other because he, you know, we were not compatible. I only went out with him 3 times, and he was a dog, and he just, mm-mm. Yeah, he thinks, yeah, he seemed to hate women, even though he liked women, but he likes women for sex, but he doesn't like and respect women. He landed this job in finance business, and he could wait a minute. The plane is coming. Sorry, sorry, sorry about that. Yes, this guy, yeah, and hatred. Um, he was telling me a story. See, yes, women, when you go out with a guy, listen to what they say. Listen to find out what they believe in, their sentiment, their attitudes, to know what this person is really about, if they're compatible with your belief system. Yeah, listen very carefully. Um, he had told me, well, I stopped seeing him. I said, we're not compatible. But if you just want to just talk on the phone, whatever, that's fine. But outside of that, I will not go out with you anymore. We're not compatible. Months passed. Yeah, the following year came. Yeah, my birthday passed. My birthday's in the end of the year. So it was like the beginning of the next year. And he calls me, and he's trying to bait me. Baiting means like you um, try to entice someone through, could be money, things, clothes, whatever, jewelry, to get you to see them, and. So he says to me, "Oh, well, most likely what happened, he couldn't get any woman, and so he thought he can come back to me." Yeah, I met him through a dating agency. That's how I met him. Um, so he probably couldn't get anybody else. So he's calling me back. Then he tells me, he said, "Well, I have a birthday present for you, but I didn't give it to you because I was angry at you because you said a man's job is to provide and protect his woman, and I didn't like that." I could have been the idiot to tell me that. Yeah, he from his own mouth told me that. He said, "But I have the present for you that I was going to give you. So we could meet up and I give you the present." So I said, "Oh, um," and I remember I hung up. I said, I'll think about it." I called back maybe 2 minutes later. Something I forget exactly what I said, but I called back right back. And I said, I was thinking about what you just told me. You don't think a man's job is to, you didn't like that I said a man's job is to provide and protect his woman. And then you told me that you had a birthday present. I had given him his birthday present when I went out with him. Bought him cologne. Um, but you're saying that you returned one of the things, but you have one of the things that you're going to give me. And you purposely didn't give it to me because you didn't like what I said, but you want me to go out with you to get it. I said, if you really meant to give me my birthday present, mail it to me. And if you don't mail it, then I know what type of man you really are. And I haven't heard from him since, and I haven't gotten any birthday present. Yeah, see, he was trying to bait me. See, he thinks I'm one of those dumb women from the Caribbean who do anything for a gift or anything like that. A lot of us have real, we are who we are, many of us, but I'm not one of them. And he thinks he can bait me and go there or give me the present. I see, I can buy my own present. Men, women, I can buy my own presents. I could buy what I can afford. I buy what I can afford. I buy things that I like for me. I don't need a man to buy me flowers, to buy me clothes, to buy me jewelry. I can buy my own. See, this man thinks that I have a narrow mindset because the people where he's from are like that because it's a poor country. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And a lot of people compromise because of that poverty, not because they want to, but they feel forced to. So, yeah, he said something else. He said also that on the job, they were showing, someone was showing the picture of their baby. And I think they brought up, he said that he had to leave the room because he was disgusted at them fawning over a baby. I think maybe I forget. I forget exactly. It could have been both that the baby came, that they had the baby and photos of the baby, and he had to walk out the room because, like, he hated the baby. And then he added on the same job that he had a cubicle, and that a female was in the cubicle next to him, and he hated that. How dare she? He's telling me this. He is telling me he didn't want a female to be in the cubicle. See, see, he's telling me about his culture that women aren't valued and that they aren't his equal. And how dare she be seated next to him? This is a foreigner, and he's saying this to most like an American woman. I think he said it was a white female. How dare she have a cubicle next to her? I couldn't believe it. I'm listening very closely. This guy is a hater of women, but he'll use women for his sexual appetite. He's vulgar, and he doesn't feel that his job is to provide or protect her. He's a user of women. But yet, when he came to the United States, he moved in. It was his aunt and mother that he lived with that provided for him. See that? That's a hater. That person's a hater. And oh, what's the point of me bringing this out? Yeah. So women's honor. So you have some men. They're not there to protect or respect women. It's how they feel that everything is about him, and his needs at her expense. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, see, ladies, listen to the men. If you're dating someone, listen to what they say. Believe them when they tell you something like that they don't like babies. They don't like women sitting next to them in a cubicle at work, and that they say that their job is not to provide and protect his woman. I couldn't believe it. That is a fucking loser. Be very careful who you get involved with. There are jewels out there, quality people, quality men. But you have to be patient to find them. And if you can't find them, that's okay too. Find yourself. Ladies, find yourself. And don't compromise. Do not compromise. And be wise in your choosing. And don't feel pressured by society that you have to marry. But if you do marry, just make sure you marry the right man. And as that young woman that I told you about, who felt pressured because they were making advances at her at church, she felt forced to make the decision, but at least she chose correctly. When she felt forced to make the choice, she made a good choice. Yeah. Sometimes we teach men to be selfish, that it's about you, to cater to your needs. It is sad, but once in a while men get it and they realize that a woman is a gift from God. Women are a gift from God, the right woman. And if you feel that you go in a relationship that it's he said, she said, and it's all fighting, then that's not the right partner for you. That isn't the right partner for you. Why force it? It's okay to be single. And if the Creator finds someone special for you, hey, hi, Adam. Hi, the first time I've seen you on the channel. Yes, thank you for saying hello. Yes. Do I know you? Are you the Adam that I know? Or you just, or is just another Adam? Do you know me? I don't want to call out your full name. But if you're my relative, hello to you. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. No, my name is. Oh, okay. Because I have a relative by that name, so yeah. Oh, that's a nice name too. That's a nice name. That's a nice name. Yeah, yes. Hello, David. Yes, yeah. I have a relative by the name of Adam. Yeah, it's a nice name, and David is a nice name too. Yeah. So David, did you hear what I was saying? That's not good. That's what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah. So have you heard? Yeah, I was discussing about with Andrew Tate. Have you heard of Andrew Tate? Yeah, I was discussing about the video that Andrew Tate did. You were saying something about relationships. Yes, Adam. Well, David, Adam. Yes, I was talking about relationships, and it's important to make the correct choices. Yeah, I was talking about my experiences out there. Oh, so wait. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was talking about Andrew Tate. And he did an interview. Sorry, I actually saw your live in YouTube. Oh, it's okay. There's no accidents here. You're here for a reason. Oh, it's okay. It's okay to ask questions or to say hello. That's all welcome here. That's all welcome. I have a question for you. Uh, are you I assume, if your name is David, I assume you're a man. So, David, do do you were you taught in life that or do you believe that men are to provide and protect their women or their children? And that's what I was talking about. And that these days, oh, okay, yeah. He says, Adam says, of course. Yeah. I was explaining just before you said hello. I was telling a story that happened to me over 30 years ago. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, hello. Thank you for sharing that, David. David, I call you David Adam. um, yeah, I was in I had dated this guy, and I went out with him 3 times, and I don't like to waste my time with people. Like, either I like you or we're not compatible. And we met through a dating agency. And I think when you're dating, you're there to find out whether this person is compatible. And I realized after the third date, we weren't compatible, me and that other fellow. And he was angry at me. He shared sometime later on, like I told him after the third date that I didn't want to see him anymore, that we weren't compatible. But if you just want to just say hello over the phone, whatever, that's okay. But I wouldn't be dating him or going out with him. Um, Months later, he had called me, and he said that he had a birthday present for me, and that I could only get the present if I go see him, and that he decided not to give me the present on my birthday because he was angry when I told him that um, a man is to provide and protect his woman, and he didn't like that. And it also turned out he didn't like that a woman, now he was an immigrant, and it was his mom and aunt that took care of him, that provided for him to live and got him educated and all that stuff. They helped him get the job, by his support. And yeah, he was moving out to his own place. So here women supported him to help him become, you know, uh, come into the country and to get an education and then to get a good job. And then he's going to do this and say this about women. Yeah, he didn't like women. He had a cubicle at work, and the cubicle next to him had a woman. And he's telling me this, and that he was enraged that how dare this woman have to sit next to him, in the cubicle next to him. And he didn't like that people were fawning over a baby at work, and he had to physically leave the room because he was angry. And then to tell me that he was angry that I said a man's job is to provide and protect his woman and his family. He didn't like that. My father taught me that. My father told us at the table, the dinner table, he said a man's job is to provide and protect his woman. And I always remembered that. And so the show that I was watching with Pierce Morgan with Andrew Tate on, um, he shared his sentiment, you know, and that because he has a daughter, and it does sound to some okay. Adam would say yes, a man's job to provide for a woman and protect a woman. Yes, I'm glad that you feel that way. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Adam. Um, so that's what I was talking about. And I'm sad that in some places around the world, I mentioned that about this. She was an actress, Adam. Yeah. She was a young, she was, when she was a teenager, she went to church. She was a Christian girl. And the older men in the church were making sexual advances towards her. So she went to her youth pastor. And the youth pastor said, "Oh, well, you're just a pretty girl. That's all what's happening." And it freaked her out. And she felt unsafe. She felt unsafe, Adam. And the pressure was so heavy for her, and she wasn't protected, and that she had to make a choice what to do because the pressure was unsurmountable for her as a young woman. At the time, she was a teenager, and it just kept on. So she felt she had to find a guy to be with so that all the other men would back off. But luckily, yeah, she was an exceptionally attractive woman. She's an actor. I forget the actress name, but she was an exceptionally natural beauty. She was one of those exotics. She was Mexican, and she had a Mexican father and a white American mother. Exceptionally beautiful, natural beauty. That's what made her so pretty. She was just a natural beauty and very soft spoken, just very feminine. And these guys in church were doing these things to her, and she felt pressured to find a guy to be with. And luckily, she chose correctly. She's happily married. But I started crying when I was telling that story because I understood her that some women have to, uh, find protection. And the Ukrainian woman, unfortunately, wasn't protected. And a lot of Black women aren't being protected either in America. And I explained earlier that a lot of Black American women, I'm a Black American woman of mixed ancestry. And a lot of us, I saw growing up, act very angry. Oh, wow. Adam is saying that he's Ukrainian. Yeah, so you heard about the Ukrainian woman. Yeah, the I don't know where you calling from. I mean, where you're in America. Are you? Oh, you were born there, but you're in America, Adam? Adam David? Yeah, it's horrible what happens to women all over the world. Yes, you're in the United States. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm here in Africa, and I'm just very, I still watch the same videos that I watched in America. I'm born and raised in America, and I feel very sad that the state of America and what, hearing Andrew Tate, um, um, he is who he is, but I like some of the things he says, his motivational speeches. Um, but I identify when he says he's there to protect his family. He doesn't want his daughter, he said his daughter got a curfew, his daughters have to be home at a certain time. Um, but a lot of girls don't have fathers at home to protect them. And I feel sad. And that's why I'm doing this video. I just wanted to share, Adam, my experiences as a woman. And regardless what race, what a woman could be, women are targeted. I have married men asking me out, even in this continent, and I think it's sad. And I just want people to be gentlemen, be ladies, be humane, be godly out there. The world is in a mess. This world is in a mess, and we're being triggered, many of us. I feel I was being triggered too. And I felt like I had to escape. I had to escape America and move here. I'm glad I did move. Okay, Adam is saying that is sad. How can a married woman be asking another woman to befriend her? Oh, I'm not sure. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How how can a married woman be ask another woman to be free? I wasn't. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Adam. Oh, okay. I said, sorry. I mean a man. Yeah, yeah, I'm glad that you rephrased it. It's all good. Yeah, yeah. America is very politically divided and it's dangerous. I'm afraid to live in America. Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. That is something. Yeah, I meet people from all over the world, Adam. Yeah, Adam David. I meet people all over the world. And it's universal. It's universal. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. I kid you not. I kid you not, Adam David. It happens. I had, let me tell you this. I had two doctors ask me out. Two medical doctors asking me out. It is so I mean, I don't go out with my doctors. It's so unethical. I'm a patient, and it's unethical to ask your patient. Yeah, yeah, and it happens. Some cultures, some just state of mind. So I don't want to say culture because I'm not here to insult anybody's culture. It's individuals. Individuals make a choice what they want to say or not say. Yes, sometimes it's socially uh, enhanced, but each individual has a choice of what they want to say or do. And unfortunately, those individuals had broken the line. It happens. You have young girls around the world, and the society, I think, especially after 2020, with that pandemic, as I call it, are vulnerable, and they're desperate for money, and some women are compromising, and it's sad. So I feel for women. I feel what can happen to a woman because I am a woman. I was also in the military, and the things that happen to women who are in the military. And the worst people to me are other women. I am about the protection of women. I try to live a godly life. I mean, I don't go to church. I'm not involved in the Christian church anymore. But about spirituality, about, the universal laws, be a good person. And sometimes women are angry and jealous of other women. Yeah. Yeah, but see, they see me and they think what they want to think. It's hard being me. It's hard being human. It's hard being happy. Yeah. The character, the person in the Bible named Jesus is a good role model, good examples. He's a good being. And people are just going contrary to what is good. People are on edge. People are afraid. And when people become afraid, oh, yes, Jesus treated women with respect. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, the person, Jesus of the Bible, was an excellent person, an excellent friend to have. But I think it's fear, the fear of life, and we're imploding on ourselves. And unfortunate people are, when people feel cornered or people feel like that there's no food, they go crazy. They go crazy. And because women are the weaker of the sexes in general, they're easier prey than with another man. So that's all. Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very, very sad. And on the continent here in Africa, women too are vulnerable. Women get pregnant. Sometimes women are multiple wives, are in relationships, and they are one of many wives. You have a man, and he can have many wives. And so they feel stuck. There's no social services really for women. And I think they're sad. Some women might want to challenge another woman because of what they just assume, oh, she's wearing those clothes, oh, her life is this or that way. And then, they're not, they may not be nice. But some women are nice because they're good people. I think nicety is a choice. Niceties, whether you're man or woman, is a choice. It's a choice. It's true. You have men that have they have wives. And you're stuck. You are stuck. And for me, I didn't want to be stuck. When I was in junior high school, I was in a very violent school in New York City. And I said to myself, I don't want to be like these people. I didn't want to be like these women there. I didn't want it. Yeah, he's saying God created one woman for one man, Adam and Eve. Okay. So, yeah, I didn't want that for myself. I went out with all different types of people, Adam, all different types. And for me, it's all the same. And I had to learn how to protect myself. I don't go out at night. I try to go, I just try to play it safe. But sometimes playing itself is not enough. It's hard. It is very hard. Yeah, I feel sorry for women in third world countries, what they call third world countries, because they are vulnerable. In these type of places, women start having children early in life because you usually don't live long. You start life early. So you get married early. You have babies early. Everything is early. There are no social services. And so they tolerate the men having more than one wife or girlfriend because she has no choice. No choice. And so I lived I live a very modest life in American standards. Um, yeah, I live where I could afford. I didn't go out play, I didn't go to clubs, not often. Yes, I ever been to a club? Yes. But it's really not for me. Um, and I went to clubs when I was in the military and I stopped. I went a few times and I saw that the clubs on the military base was getting violent because of alcohol, these clubs, they have alcohol. And when people do alcohol and in the military, uh, they get violent. And there was this violence that that happened regarding me when I was in the club. And I said, I will not come back there again. Yeah. Yeah. I stay away from alcohol. I don't want to be around any institution that has it because I see what it does to people. It ruins lives. So I stay away from that. Yeah. Yeah, women in the military. Yeah, women in the military. Um, Black, in particular, black women in the military. Yeah, in the military when I went, I was in the Navy, and it was 1987 when I entered. Um, Basically, how it's set up, you had mostly whites, and the whites that are in the military, usually they're rural whites. They're from the countryside. And then you had blacks, fewer in number, and these were urban blacks. Things were socially segregated, basically. Um, and people's lifestyle does not change. So even though, you know, money was a problem for many of us, um, we bring the same habits. We bring the same habits from civilian life into the military life. You have women who make their choices, and they may not make the best choices. And yeah, it was what it was. Yeah, yeah, in the military. Um, yeah, women had to be careful, and I'm very fortunate that I made the right. Well, I would say life helped me make the choice when I was in the military, but I'm very grateful that that I did eventually get out in the military and trying to make good choices for my life. And sometimes women might look and say, "Hey, well, how come she? Where does she get her stuff from?" And you're right. People may like scrutinize me and they think I'm doing something. I'm just. Oh, a plane is coming. Plane, just a moment. Yeah, after I got out of the military, 5 months later. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Adam. Uh, when I got out of the military, 5 months later, I did move to the Caribbean. I lived there just for a few years, 3.5 years. And I think I was a novelty to the women of the Caribbean. I lived on the island of St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands. And I think that, I was treated very poorly by the women there in the West Indies. And my background is Caribbean, but not from St. Thomas. And it didn't make a difference. They were very catty, the women, very highly insecure. And it's a lot of people sleeping around. Yeah, it was one of the worst experience I had, the Caribbean. Um, the treatment of women in the Caribbean, at least on that island, was very bad. I had a coworker who got murdered by her boyfriend, so-called boyfriend. I saw her at work. She came to me and asked me to, in the future, to bring these forms. She worked in an accounting department. She wanted me to bring these papers to her office. And so I said, sure. She was a nice lady. She was a little older than me, but she looked young, but she was actually older. And you would never know that she's having problems. And she had she had a toddler, or like a toddler, and she was having domestic problems. And she had an order of protection, to protect her. Her boyfriend left home and he went to the airport, and then he changed his mind, got back into her house, took a hammer and unalived her with the baby there, the toddler, I should say. And he was arrested. And then that Monday morning, my friend, someone that I knew, showed me the newspaper. Says, "Look, so and so's in the newspaper." I said, "Oh my God, that's my coworker that just saw Wednesday." Yeah, it's extremely violent, the Caribbean, and very, very. See, the Caribbean is misogynist. Andrew Tate is considered misogynist. Andrew Tate is saying what he's saying, but in his heart, in my opinion, I think he's trying to motivate some, and he knows the dangers what happened to women. And I think this person will provide and protect his women, and he does. So, but in the Caribbean, they don't want to provide for you, and they don't want to protect you in the Caribbean. The woman, let me tell you this. I had a coworker, female coworker. She was from Dominica, not to get confused with the Dominican Republic, but from Dominica, British, owned by the British. And she was living with a man for many, many years. And she used to be married to someone else, got a divorce, and then lived with this guy for 7 or 11, maybe it was 11 years. She was living with this guy for 11 years. And she had a child with that relationship. And she was telling me in this relationship, she had to work 2 full-time jobs for 10 years to support herself. She told me she paid all the bills, but he paid the electric bill. That's what she told me. So she has to pay for her 2 children, food, everything. And she said that she thought she was going to have a mental breakdown. See, yeah, she's telling me this. And I was very shy back then. I was in my 20s back then. And she was a little older than me also. She was, I think, also about 3 years older than me. And this is what Caribbean women go through. Well, I should say those specific people who told me that they had to provide for themselves. But it seems to me, by what I see, that is typical. And women are just sex objects in the Caribbean, and it's a high domestic violence incidence in the Caribbean. And just like as I said earlier, I dated this guy from Haiti 3 times in America, and that same misogynistic attitude that I shared. He got angry. The Haitian guy told me that he was angry at me because he said a man's job is to provide and protect his woman. So what does he do then? What is he about? And this is what they tell me. And the women that I met when I lived in the Caribbean told me what the guys were doing. So a lot of the women were angry with me because they were wondering. See, those women that that knew of me, see, what they did to survive is sleep around, and they don't see any person around me, and they're wondering how I was getting what I was getting. I lived a very simple life, and I paid my own bills. I didn't get my hair done. I didn't get my nails done. I didn't go partying. All the money, well, I did pay my tithes and offering. I went to church back then. I no longer am involved in any organized religion, but that's what happened. And they were jealous of me. They were jealous. And I was getting harassed at the job by this guy, and he retaliated, and word got around. And you know who targeted me as a result of this, my complaining about this guy harassing me? The women. The women. I was forced to leave the company because of the women were harassing me. I was harassed so badly. The women there in St. Thomas were as evil can be, but they were individuals who were nice to me there. There were some nice human beings that I met there, but in my opinion, the experiences that I had while living there was extremely evil. Evil by their behaviors. They abuse their children. Um, what else? They're jealous of each other. They don't help each other. And everybody is sleeping with everybody else's partner. And I didn't play the game. And so they were jealous of me. They were jealous that I was a woman of the church. And it happens. Some of my worst enemies are other women. And I've done them no harm. I didn't sleep with any of those guys. And you also had lesbians there too. And they tried to come on to me. Yep, and I had to leave. It's horrible. It is horrible. Life there was horrible. Yes. Yes, people are what people do. People are what people do. And life is basically universal. Yeah, I wasn't safe. Yeah, I wouldn't move, the Caribbean, it was a pretty island. The island of the U.S. Virgin Islands of St. Thomas was physically very, very beautiful. But the mindset back then, I was there in the 1990s. It was such an evil place. Yet people who hide behind religion, you have pastors that hide behind religion, but they are predators there. They were predators, sexist, and um, and women are prey. Women are at prey in St. Thomas and the Caribbean. And so I'm so glad when I left. I am so glad. Um, yeah, that's what life was like for me. And that the people who I care about what happens to women. And it's unfortunate that instead of them seeing that I care, they just see, oh, she has a nice dress on, or she lives in a nice place. Be selective. As a woman, you don't realize the power that you have. As a woman, don't get angry at people who might say things that offend you. Empower yourself. Be selective who you sleep with. Be selective. In fact, don't sleep around. Be a lady. Be modest in your conduct and pay your own bills. Pay your own bills, people. Don't wait for anybody to buy you clothes or car. Buy it yourself and feel truly empowered. Buy what you can afford. Do not buy on credit because credit makes you poor. Credit will put you in the poorhouse big time and fast. Buy what you can afford. Live a modest life. Make your own food. And you'll have some money saved. A lot of these people who are complaining all the time that they don't have this or that, they live above their means. In America, they're not starving. Dave Ramsey, credit is bad. Yeah. Okay, Dave Ramsey. Okay, I don't know them. Yeah, credit is bad. A lot of people live on credit. A lot of people use credit cards to go on vacation. Now, if you can pay it at the end of the month, fine, you pay the whole thing in full. But if you just nickel and dime it, you become a slave to it. If you have credit and you live on credit, you are a slave to credit cards. You are a slave. I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way, people. See, I learned my lesson too. I learned that credit enslaves you and you feel like you're going to lose your mind because you don't know how you're going to pay it. It took me many years to pay for my college, and I incurred uh, debt when I had gotten a credit card when I moved to, yeah, I also lived in Hawaii too. Yeah, I hate debt. Yeah, I fell into debt. And I thought, I used it for survival, but it didn't survive. It really uh, increased the damage, and it was not good. But I'm proud to say that I paid it all off. People, women especially, please do not buy on credit. Pay it off and cut those cards, and don't do it again. Don't use it. Men, same thing. Do not go on credit. Do not live on credit because you will be in the poorhouse. See, everybody wants to pretend that they have more than they do. And you have a lot of people in the Black community, and they go around and they pretend that they have, and what they have, many of them, is on credit cards, or they sleep around. Men and women sleep around, and they have the partner buy them things. So they're acting like a prostitute, in my opinion. Pay your own bills. Pay for your own stuff, and don't buy on credit. And believe me, you will have some money saved. And when you have all your bills paid and you have the extra, you can buy yourself a little something. Yeah. And live where you can afford. Live where you can afford. And a lot of times people have they do these videos, and they're pretending that they can afford the lifestyle that they want to project, what they want to project, that they got a lot of money. They hang out in expensive areas, they're wearing fancy clothes. Well, what they didn't say that they put it on credit, and maybe they returned the item after they wore it. Hello? Maybe they're sleeping around. You don't want to live like that, people. You don't want to live like that. You want to live with dignity. Please, people, have dignity. Have dignity. And be free. Yeah, freedom is a choice. The freedom to say no. To say you say to yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, I don't want to live with that lifestyle. I don't want to live like that. And say no and walk away. And walk away. Stay at home. When things get a little tough, I just stay at home for a couple of days, regroup myself, and then I'll go back out. You will always be tried. People would test you and see what you're made out of. They would test you, ladies. They would try to entice you with money, with maybe vacation. I'll take you out on a trip, but you just got to sleep with me. Ladies, please don't do that. Or men, you have men that happen to men too. Just say no and walk away. Pay your own bills and pay what you can afford. And get your own place also. That's also what I learned. Get your own place. If you can only afford to live in this slum, whatever, then live there. Live where you can have paid the bills by yourself. And if you need 2 jobs, get 2 jobs. It's hard. It is hard. I've been through that. It was very hard. And I'm very, very, thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. And I feel really, I had a very challenging life. And people only see what I have now. They don't know what I went through. They don't know. It was very hard. It's hard, the job market. You're hated by women because they, you know, you had different components. You had racism, and you just had women hating women. And then you had sexism. It's like, it was horrible. It was horrible. And so, where you going to go? Yeah, I've had many jobs. I was in many industries, and life was hard. So I understand people like Andrew Tate saying that women should stay at home and be protected because he knows what's out there. He knows about the predators. So another car is coming. Sorry, it's a car. I said a car. I meant to say plane. Another plane was coming. Yeah, so I understood him, and I started to cry a little bit because the realities of what happens to women. That women are walking minding their own business, and they're preyed upon. Yeah. Before I left America, yeah, several people tried to jump me. Yeah, men, and usually in one's community, people are preyed upon by people from their own community, and that's the reality. So if you live in a white community, usually you're going to be preyed upon by white people. If you live in a black community, you're going to probably be uh, victimized by a black person from that community. Oh yeah, when I mean jumped, I mean um, well, it was wow, what happened? Yeah, someone tried to rob me in the subway. And I sensed that that he was gonna do something. Yeah, he tried to jump me, but what happened? Yeah, he came from behind me, and as I was going down the stairs, he ran to get me. But what he didn't know that a man was coming up the stairs, and he was like, yeah, we almost collided. All three of us almost collided with each other. And when he saw that, he ran away. He ran back upstairs. Yeah, it was just split seconds. And then a man tried to jump me. I think he was watching me for a couple of days. He was someone from my neighborhood. And he hid behind this gate in it was this school, this Catholic school, and he hid behind the gate. And I had my stroller back then. I had dogs in a stroller, and it's just after 6 o'clock in the morning. And he leaped. I don't know how he did it because the fence is taller than me. So it's about 6 feet high. And the guy is way over 6 feet. He somehow jumps over the fence, and he started walking towards me. What I didn't know, yeah, I lived in an apartment building, and that particular concierge was he wasn't assigned to work that day, but something happened, and he worked that shift, and he watches over me, and he told me later on, the concierge, that he makes sure that when I leave that I'm safe, and he watched me as I was leaving, and he said, I saw everything. I saw what the man did. And what my concierge did was, so the guy is coming, the weirdo is coming after me slowly, and I'm like in shock, and I started walking backwards, and then I turned my head to position myself to the door that I just exited. Yeah, I was maybe 10 feet away from the door. And so when I walked backwards, the concierge opened the door and stood by my side, and he eyeballed the man down. And then the guy walked away, but he hid behind the wall next to the entryway. Because I poked my head out and I saw him hiding back there. Yeah. Yeah, he was a black dude also. And then um, I got groped by this black fellow wearing a BLM, Black Lives Matter t-shirt. And I was so angry. And I went for help. I went to a black woman who was standing right there where it happened. I said, please call the cop. This guy just, told him what he did. And did the black lady, it was a young black girl, did she come and help me? Did she call? She said no. She started yelling at me. Why you? It's acting like a real, you know what? Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened to me. And oh, there was something else that happened. Those are the ones that I could remember. Yeah. Oh, then I get this guy tried to rob me. This Afro Latino type guy tried to steal my dog. Yeah, it was one thing after another. Yeah. And then I got attacked by a white woman. And then I got this young white man tried to attack me. And that was a miracle how I got out of that one. Yeah. It was a lot of things that were happening. But let me tell you what happened with the white fellow that tried to attack me. He probably was like in his 30s, about the same height as me. And I was walking home in Manhattan. It was the day after that Asian lady, the Filipino lady, got stomped on by the black guy who murdered his own biological mother. And he had just he was 19 years old at the time when he murdered his own biological mother, does prison, and then he got out and he lived in a place near where I lived, and he saw this Asian lady, and I think he mistaken her for a Chinese person, and he gave her a kung fu kick and then stomped on her head. And he was a real thick black guy, really horrible animal. It was animalistic what he did to that lady. She survived the attack. And it was right next door where I lived. Right next door, the door right next to my door. And I had gotten, uh, um, that day I had already gone out and came back in my house, my apartment that day when it happened. Yeah, it was a big incident in New York City. Yeah, it was a big incident that happened. And so the next day, I find out what happened. I left my house early to do my walk with my dogs, and then when I was on my way back, yeah, I was to be home by 9 o'clock in the morning, but it was 9:20 when it happened. When the guy tried to attack me. Yeah, the white guy, real wimpy looking white guy, but he was chubby, real loser type. And I had, yeah, so there were these big trucks there because, the cameramen and everything, were reporting on the lady being stomped on by the guy. And so, and then there was scaffolding also. So I was trapped. I couldn't run because the wall, I'm pressed against the wall, and then the opposite wall were the big trucks, and it's blocking, so no one would see that I'm being attacked. And so, yeah, so what happened? I had bent down to pick up my doggies, Poo Poo, and then when I stood up, this white dude walks up to me and like in rage, and he walked inches from my face. And I did have mace. I did carry mace, but it was up my sleeve. And with mace, you better be careful how you press it, because you can accidentally have it aimed at you, because you can't tell what direction sometimes how the knob is shaped, that you're pressing in the right direction. And I just froze, and he's about maybe 4 inches from my face, gritting his teeth. He was enraged. He was going to attack me. I kind of froze, and the only thing that I could do was to look in his pupil. I kid you not, people. I kid you not. He had light eyes. I think he had blue eyes. And so what I did, I looked into his pupil because he was standing that close. And I looked into it to try to read this guy. I never seen this guy in my life. What does he want from me? But that's what I did. But guess what happened right after that, people? You would laugh. You're going to laugh. What happened? Okay? This is what happened when I looked into his pupils to try to read him, his energy. He kind of like like that, like he got scared, and then he bent down, pet my dog, and ran off. That's what happened to me. That isn't that hilarious? I kid you not, people. See what happened, but that I can gather is that he meant harm for me. He was going to kick my ass. And he's probably angry because, it was a black dude, black person that beat up that lady, right next door. The incident happened right next to the door where the lady got stomped on. You're in between that door and my door where I live. So it's in between. And, it was like a tit, I believe in my heart, it was a tit for tat. You had blacks attacking whites, and then you had whites getting angry at blacks and going back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, so it was a tit for tat. And I never, I don't know who this white guy was. And I've never met him before. I'm minding my own business. I'm a middle-aged lady in my 50s at that time. And so, what do you have against me? He was probably like in his 30s, I think. And I was scared. And I'm so thankful that the guy ran away. I did call up the police. And then the police started yelling at me over the phone, you know, what is to do? He didn't hit you, and it's not against the law to pet your dog. No, but it's against the law to try to, he was going to attack me, but he got scared off because I looked into his pupil, and he didn't want to be read. People. You look in those pupils when you have nothing, when you don't know what to do, look into his soul. See, he's like fucking coward. That white dude. He's a fucking coward because he's a fucking coward. And that black man that attacked that Filipino woman, he's just a fucking coward. It's not the race of the person that makes you a coward. It's what you do. It's your behavior. And to want to attack a woman because you're a man, you're a fucking coward, in my opinion. People are cowards and they want to feel empowered. And so sometimes they choose the narrow path in life. We need to learn how to love and value ourselves and to love your neighbor. We need to value life. We live in a society where people don't value life anymore. People are selling their children because they don't value life. They don't choose mates carefully. They're desperate usually, and they just pick any loser to impregnate them or to start a family with. You have to be selective, or just say no. Say, I stayed single. It's okay to be single. And I know that some people think, oh, if you're not married, there's something wrong with you. Or maybe there's something right about you. Maybe there's something right that you're not married or have children because life is tough. People are tough. It's hard out there to survive right now. So families are forced, both parents are forced to have jobs because to just support yourself. I think really it's inevitable how society is set up. They want people to reach a breaking point that they want both parents away from home. They want social media to raise your children, but you have to say no. Your family should come first, your household, and try to live an affordable life. A lot of us, we want to live above our means because status is important. But status is your enemy because status is just an illusion. And status is designed to discriminate. Status is designed to discriminate against one another so that one person say, I'm better than you because I have this or I have that. And it's just a trick. It's an illusion because there's someone else that has more than you. There's always going to be someone that has more, someone that has a bigger education than you, someone with a bigger house, a bigger car, who's taller, who's smarter, who's this color or that color. And it's used against us to war against one another. We have to learn how to live in peace within ourselves, to appreciate what you do have. Learn to appreciate that you only have living in a small house or have a small car. Thank God you have somewhere to live. Thank God that you have maybe a potato to eat. Thank God. Be grateful for what you have and embrace yourself. Love yourself. Loving yourself. You know what someone said to me recently, a week ago, last week? Because, see, I have a tattoo on my arm. And I told them, yes, it's a picture of myself on my arm with a beautiful swan and a horse. And he said in response to the tattoo of myself, he said, "Oh, so I guess you're selfish," real nasty like that. And I said, "No, it's not selfish for me to have a tattoo of me on my arm. It shows you that I love myself. Yeah, I love myself. And only when you truly love yourself that you can love others. I think I love other people. I treat people with respect. But even though I treat people with respect, you also have to set boundaries. And as a woman in a society like this, that you have to have boundaries because I am a woman. And if you're a single woman, people might think because you're single or a man's not around you that they can take you. And you have to put your foot down and you have to set boundaries. Okay? So only when you can love yourself can you really love other people. And I told them, in life, people don't love themselves. And that's why they mistreat other people because they don't love themselves. So yes, I have a tattoo with my face on it, and because I love myself, and I believe in loving other people, respecting my neighbor. Yeah. So yeah, you have to love. Yeah, love comes within, and we're all going to be challenged. I'm challenged daily. I feel so sorry. There's so many people here who are so worse off than me. I am truly blessed to live here, to be of sound mind, because so many women out there and men here have to scrounge around for just drinking water. They have nothing in comparison. And I know that I'm perceived as being someone with a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money in American standards. I am poor in America. Well, I should say modest income. But I try to, in America, I usually live within my means. I've made mistakes growing up with my finances, but I learned. and I lived according to my means. I bought my clothes from the Salvation Army. Yes, I did. I didn't go get my nails done hardly ever. I know how to do my own nails, basic manicure. I don't wear, I wear, I'm natural. Okay. I'm a natural woman. I'm a natural woman. And so, true beauty is not needing all that stuff on your hands, on your face. I don't condemn any woman who does. But, you start to wonder why you don't have money, because you spend money what you can't afford. I mean, if you can afford it, go for it. If you have the money, go for it. But many of us in the Black community, we don't have the money. Wait, another plane is coming. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, can't compete with the planes. But yeah, a lot of poor people, poor blacks in New York City, they want to get their hair done. It costs a lot to get a weave. They want to get their hair done. They get their nails done, right? Oh, they want the accessories, the bling bling bangs, the status bags, and then they say on YouTube, some of these ladies, that they can't pay the rent because they had to buy themselves the bag or the outfit for the club. These are foolish women. And men, you shouldn't go out with women like that because they're going to make you poor. Woman, buy your own stuff. And don't buy on credit, as I mentioned. And pay your bills first. Pay your rent. Pay your medical bills. Pay your food first. Pay your utilities first. And any money left over. If you want, you treat yourself out. Treat yourself out. Learn how to save. So you want to just buy, 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 buy. This is what discipline's about. Discipline. We need to discipline ourselves. And then you wonder, minority woman, of these new immigrants who come to America. And I used to see what happens on the train, the Asians in particular from East Asia, and they're peddling these little cheap toys, you know, selling things on the market, on the street. They're real quiet. They mind their business, but basically, and then they have children, and their children become valedictorians of this school, and they get every imaginable scholarship to an Ivy League school of their choice. See, that's how you play it, people. You got to play it smart. Play it smart. Play it smart. Woman, train them how to think, how to use their mind rather than their body. Use your mind to get in these Ivy League schools. Educate yourself. Stop focusing on just your looks. Start developing your mind so you could develop your community. It's the woman that makes the community because she teaches her children, if she has children, how to respect her elders. She'll treat them hopefully a spiritual filled life. She'll teach her kid right and wrong. She'll teach the kids how to eat proper food. You know, that's what she should be focused on. Community. You woman make up the community. Be a quality woman so you can get a quality man. If there's no quality man in your community, go with your quality man and be that quality woman. You may have to get a man out of your nationality or race. Do so if you really want to get a man. But if you don't want to get a man out of your community, wait till one comes. And if they don't come, develop yourself. Develop yourself. It's okay to develop your mind. Develop your mind so you could use discernment. You could use discernment with the people you encounter. Use discernment and live a more fulfilled life. That really goes for every race, every woman around the world, and every man. Use discernment and develop your mind. Stop being materialistic of things you can't afford. Be content. Here goes the plane again. Sorry. Be content with what you have. Don't believe the politics. The politics now is designed to destroy you, to control you. They're working up the one world government of your destruction. They're going to use the race card, the gender card, the political party card against you. Wake up. Wake up, people. And say no, that you're not going to participate in that melee. They're there to destroy you, people. They don't love you. The woke community does not love you. They're trying to pull down everybody into the sewer. Please use your mind. Please use discernment. Please protect your children, especially your daughters. Please teach your children that they are valued. Educate them both, male and female, that they are valued. Live within your means. Have dinners together and be grateful for that potato or carrot that you have for dinner. God bless America and God bless humanity and the planet and all countries around the world. Yes, these are my thoughts, my experiences that I've had growing up as a woman, as a black woman, as a mixed race black woman, as an American, as someone who lives overseas. Life isn't easy for any of us, and we have to use discernment, the signs of the time. Read the signs of the times, that the world is in a mess and it's socially engineered to do what it's doing. See through the mess and live a God-filled life, whatever what your God is. Love one another and love yourself. I thank you all for listening, and pray for me. I'm going to need it. I need your prayers. Thank you again for listening. Peace, love, and joy from the heart. Take care. Bye-bye.